Good morning, brothers and sisters, especially the faithful of St. Anthony's Parish in San Gabriel, and happy Wednesday of Holy Week. Now, in our church, we have a massive, beautiful, big crucifix in the main sanctuary. And on the right side of Jesus' face, right on his cheek, there's a large wound. And you actually can't see this wound from the pews. You have to be in the sanctuary and kind of look up underneath, and you'll see this wound on Jesus' cheek. Right? And we know Jesus was scourged. He received many lashings and wounds. But this one stands out. It's rather prominent. And you might wonder, well, I don't really remember hearing from the Gospels Jesus getting, I don't know, punched in the face or whipped in the face in a particular way. Why so pronounced on this crucifix? Well, the tradition goes is that the wound that hurt Jesus the most was the kiss of Judas. And so this wound portrayed on this crucifix is pointing to that Jesus was betrayed. And in all the scourgings, the nails, the one that hurt the most was this betrayal, this kiss of Jesus. I mean, kiss of Judas. I mean, poor Judas. He was a beloved follower. He was brought in. He was one of the apostles. And yet he betrays our Lord. And we read about it in today's gospel passage. Now, you might ask yourself, why would Judas have done this? What was going on in his heart? And there's different ideas. There's this blessed, her name is Anne Catherine Emmerich, and she has this book called The Dolorous Passion of Our Lord Jesus Christ. And essentially this is her writings of visions that she's experienced. Once it's private revelation, this is not public revelation. You don't have to believe anything in this book, but she is a blessed, and so obviously she lived a holy life. And it's very interesting to read. And she has some very powerful reflections on Judas, which help us think about, why might he have done this? In the gospel passage today, it speaks about the 30 pieces of silver. And there's that saying, right? Every man has his price, So maybe Judas did this simply out of greed and wanting to accumulate money, wealth or whatever through this. But Anne Catherine Emmerich, she points to something deeper, I think, that might have been a motivating factor for Judas. And that is, he was sick and tired of wandering around with Jesus, of kind of this persecuted, suffering life of Jesus, that he was ready for Jesus to establish a temporal reign, a temporal power. It became obvious at a certain point that Jesus was not going to do this. It became obvious that he was going to be put to death, that the leading Jewish powers were not happy with Jesus, that it didn't look good for Jesus' future. And so Judas decided to jump ship. He lost hope. He abandoned the plan of the Lord in his son Jesus, and he decided to seek an earthly or a temporal, a worldly power, a worldly fortune, sought to get in on the good side with the Pharisees and the scribes. Poor Judas, right? He betrays our Lord. Now, what can we learn from Judas? We can learn from Judas that we need to remain faithful to the Lord even when it looks like what he's doing makes no sense at all. Even though it might seem like, well, this is pointless. Why are we suffering? We don't have to. Jesus, establish your reign, establish your power. It teaches us to trust the Lord, to trust Jesus, to trust his plan, that he is present, he is working, even though it might not seem like it. This is an important message for us, especially in the midst of everything that's going on right now. How sad it would be if we were to betray our Lord, to jump ship. Oh, God must not be present, etc., etc., etc. I'm out of here. I'm going to put my trust in something else. No, brothers and sisters. We want to put our trust in the Lord. Don't be like Judas. Don't betray him. Don't seek a fleeting, temporary pleasure and gain. No, seek the treasure in heaven. So let's ask Our Lady to help us with this, that we might be very faithful to our Lord, especially in his great time of need, in his time of passion. And that when we unite ourselves to him, we will experience the new life that he offers us in the resurrection.